Hey, well, welcome back to the ARC Path.
My name is Bernard,
And I'm Casey.
and today is a new day. It's a brand new day. We're coming out of group coaching, and we are ready to go.
Love that we recognize that every day is a new day. That alone is we don't have all of the baggage and all of the burden and all of the shortcomings of yesterday. The mercy was new. The sun rose somewhere, even if we couldn't see it. And we go, let's go.
That's why I'm using a yellow cup today. That sunshine. I'm taking my sunshine with me wherever I go this morning, just to remind
Oh,
myself that the sun came out. Not in Southern California, but it's but someplace it did.
and it's why I have my decaf coffee because I didn't need anything. I was running, I was jilted just because life was in my veins.
Mm,
So we invite you along the ARC path to say, did you start today with hope? Did you start today with abundance? Did you start today with a sense of fullness in your heart and in your life? We love that the ARC path leads us to that point, but we also love that on the ARC path we begin with that. And that's a mindset, that's an invitation, and it's a bit of what we're going on to today.
Love that. And I'm going to invite, if you have not watched the last podcast that we did, watch it after this, and then come back and watch this one more time, because we're going to be talking about coaching and mentors. And last time we talked about how it is so important to have mentors and coaches, and what happens when you listen to yourself as a coach. Again, it stayed with me, this idea that you are your best coach,
Yeah.
but the coach that you listen to the most is your old self. Remember that happened.
And we're going to stop that.
We're gonna stop
I don't
that.
want to leave that linger. We're going to stop that.
Well, we're gonna stop that, but it's an invitation. It was such a powerful podcast, and again, go back and listen to it. But listen to this first, finish this, and then go back, because you're gonna have a greater clarity when you watch that again, and that's exciting.
And the premise that I know, Bernard, you and I have, we picked up along the way in leadership and life and business, that we begin with the end in mind. Stephen Covey made that famous, 25, almost 30 years ago, as one of his 7 habits. But when we begin with the end in mind, specifically to the ARC path, we begin saying there's something for us to touch.
Yes.
In the ARC path, we call it kingdom.
Yes.
And without the vision of that, we're going to get lost.
Yes.
We're going to get sidetracked. We're going to get distracted. We're going to get sucked in and drawn into some battle, some war that is not ours.
Yes.
And so let's take it to the end here and say, what is it? We're not looking for coaches anymore. We did that last podcast.
Yep.
What are we doing today? How are we going to capture this to say, I'm going to leave it right there. What are we doing?
I love that, and it just again, we're going after the why.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about the world that we're in. It's ever changing. I mean, we're in. We go back. I tell people my grandfather, built a business and stayed his entire life doing it. My father came and changed businesses multiple times in his life. We're in a season where our business is changing almost every. It used to be every decade. Now it's every 3 to 4 years. Now it's
A day.
it's every day. The business life is changing, and you go, well, how do you deal with that? And again, it's just, well, you need a new skill set. Well, how long does it take to learn a new skill set? And the reality is, it all depends on you. It depends on your coaches, but the number one skill set that you need is, I'm going to try to get this right, a malleable mindset. Did I get that right?
I heard it correctly. The neuroplasticity of our brain and our mind is available for us all.
Yes.
You are not stuck, and
Yes.
that is, we're going to begin with the end and go, look, you're running, you're moving, you're celebrating, you're dancing. If you can't see that, well, then you are stuck. If you can see that, you already know the direction you're going in, and the malleable mindset, the ability to recognize that the ARC path is a philosophy of movement.
Yes.
And we're going to stay in movement along this path that invites our mindset to reach for abundance at the beginning rather than the end.
And how do we stay there?
Mm.
Because I love that you said that I can tell you, hey, you need to stay there. But am I saying it out of fear? Hey, stay there. Oh, or otherwise something bad's gonna happen to you. Let's push that off. Let's push that off. Let's celebrate. Let's celebrate the authenticity of community, the authenticity of the genuineness of
Mhm.
who we are, this lifestyle. And again, I'm jumping us to the end.
Yep.
But we're trying to set the bar of what we're going after, and that's that kingdom reality that I'm gonna be fine. I have provision in my life for family, for community, and if I don't have enough, if I lose my job, is somebody gonna step in to help me?
Yeah.
You know, can if I need to stay at a friend's house, if I need a meal, what does that look like?
But but is the fear.
Is the fear?
What if
What if?
it's not enough? And fear creeps itself in to derail and to deceive us into believing that the end might not happen.
Yes.
And so we work ourselves backwards, and it's where we lose this battle. Well, what if I pick the wrong coach?
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
Just pick a coach
Pick a coach.
and move forward. But what if I didn't save enough and it rains? Oh, but what if? And all of those things are really what we're inviting you to recognize today. Um, Along this arc path, we are going to release the power of fear over our lives. And we're going to bring in the fact that you have everything you need already inside of you. And then the mindset is going to recognize that where I latch into love, love being a willingness to risk. I mean, there's no expression of love that's not a risk.
Yes.
Um, I'll just make it tangible. Bernard, when you and Claudia decided we're going to have children, were you ready?
No.
And I hope you recognize there's not a couple in the world that was prepared sufficiently to have children, because it's a risk. It's a risk to even see if you can get pregnant in that element. It's a
Yes.
risk to fulfill that opportunity to bring a child in the world, because now all of your weaknesses are going to be revealed the moment you are responsible, caring, and contending for another human being. And so the world population would cease to exist if fear won.
Yes.
But it doesn't win because love motivates us, love moves us, and we go, oh, let's reproduce this world.
Love that. Love that.
That's
And
the end.
that's the end. And the pathway to get there is, are you willing?
Mm-hmm.
Are you willing? I think the hopeless mindset is, I'm not willing because there's no point. There is no point in adapting. There is no point in changing. There is no the just somebody's going to come, the government's going to come and take care of me, so there's no point in me moving. I'm not going to change. I'm not willing because there's no point. And that's what we're trying to get around, is there is a point. Are you willing to reach for more? Are you willing, because that's love right there. Am I
Mm-hmm.
willing to learn more? Am I willing to try new things, to be in community differently?
Yeah.
Well, I don't need anybody and nobody needs me. Are you willing to change that mindset and to push that off? And really, the invitation is jump onto the arc path.
Yeah, Bernard, are we willing to maybe give some indicators that you are on the arc path according to um, what's going to be produced as I'm in a coaching relationship?
Hmm.
What are some of the things, if my sights are set on growth and development, my sights are set on recognizing there's a lifestyle path of better choices.
Yes.
Oh, good. Now that I know there is a lifestyle path of better choices, how do I know it's working?
Love that. Love that. And the number one metric is success. So it's, we're going to talk about a few different ones, but it's success is the number one metric.
Mm,
No, most people, I mean, you go, oh, that's obvious, but yet most people don't have that willingness. Well, wait a minute, I'm going to move and I'm going to be successful. That's going to be a metric, a tangible metric that I'm moving in the right direction.
mm,
Because if you're moving in a direction and then there's pain and continuous failure going, yes, but there is a success metric. And I'm not saying, it looks like, I'm going to hit the lottery every single
yeah.
time. No, that's not it. But when you have a coach in your life that has your sights on a success metric, and you go, oh, wait a minute, success comes one step at a time, one day at a time, but it's not a failure every day. It's
Yeah.
a success metric every day.
So beautiful. And what I want to invite you is along this journey is to get rid of the shoulds. There's a whole lot of shoulds that come up when we say the word success. There's metrics that the world has given you, that your
Yes.
family has given you, that somebody else has told you.
Yes.
When you do this, you'll be successful. When you get your master's, you'll be successful. When you have
Yes.
children, you'll be successful. Whatever that is, that's not what we just said.
Yes.
We're inviting you to go, what does success mean for you? And a key to that is discovering that getting up and moving towards anything is success.
Yes.
Being in movement, being unstuck is successful. And that comes from this concept. There's a whole lot of good quotes, but you know, the opposite of success is failure. And I'm not going to give a bunch of definitions, but just know that for you to go, I got up again today.
Yes.
I saw that there was an opportunity for me to become better. That's success.
Yes.
That's a movement. That's a lifestyle. That's a joy to go, okay, now what do I got to do to repeat that again tomorrow? That's success. And then you can put the end goal on it of what your metric is for that success. But without having a goal, without having a metric, if you're not inspecting anything, don't expect it. But if you can inspect it, you can begin to expect it. And that's what we're inviting you to do is, what is the provision that has to come in? What is the element that I'm going to measure? What is for me to say it's working?
Yes. I
You need
love
to
that.
have something.
You need to. You need to. And this is what the coach does. The I'm gonna move on to the second point is the coach is somebody that's gonna wake you up to the pack that you're running with.
Hmm.
Who's the pack? Because what's the number one provision of a pack, a group that you're with, and it's security. There's safety in numbers, and that means I have a pack, I have a group that I'm running with, and are you feeling safe? Is there security? Is there provision of security in your life? And if there isn't, look around you.
Yeah.
What is that pack that you're running with? Ultimately, the number one pack, and again, this is a loaded word. I'm gonna throw it out there. I thought about it, but it's called family. Oh,
Ooh.
I did say it. I did say it. That's our number one pack. Oh, but you don't know my family. We all have them. We all have them. Push off the word family, bring the word. Who's your pack? Who's the
Yeah.
group of people that you're running with every day? Because that's your source of security and provision.
Yeah.
And
And as we look at success, it's often outside of you. It really is. It's something that we talked about goals, we talk about metrics, we talk about something you're reaching for. The security is going to go from the opposite place. It's going to start on the inside, and it's going to be values.
yes,
Your family are the people who share your values. And this is why family is such a trigger word, is because sometimes we come to a point that we recognize my family of origin does not value what I value. And then you go, but I'm stuck.
yes,
And then you have to make a choice. Can I convince them to change? The answer is no, for the same reason that they can't convince you to change.
yes,
But you have to find a pack, I like that word, that you're going to surround yourself with. Because
yes,
if you are not being surrounded by a group of encouragers and people who are cheering you on, you are actually surrounded by a cage that's holding you back.
mm,
And
wow,
so on the path of coaching is to find a coach that has what you want and to go, give me more of it. I mean, literally, that's how do you know what the right coach is for you? You look out and you
yes,
go, do you have what I want? Don't take advice from anybody in this world that doesn't have what you want. They're just shitting on you. They're suggesting, they're giving you advice, but they haven't lived into it. Find a coach that you go, dude, you got it.
yeah,
I want what you got.
yeah.
Show me how you got it. And if they go, I'm sorry, I can't, it's just for me, they're not a coach.
Not a coach. Yes, run the other way.
Yeah.
Run the other way. It's just we need that. We talked about that in really the last podcast, how it's important. A coach brings that focus, helps you focus to see your community, to see the world around you better, and again, doesn't tell you where to go. Again, we talked about different things of
Mm-hmm.
to recognize different coaches, but again, it's bringing things into focus so for you to have clarity. You are your best coach. Love that paradigm is your future self. That's your best coach. Nobody says, I want to run into a ditch. I want to fall off a cliff. I want to get hit by a bus.
I really hope today sucks.
Nobody does that.
No.
Your future self wants that kingdom lifestyle. I don't care who you are, where you come from. Your future self is the one that knows that you know what you want. You want a kingdom lifestyle. It's just you have to bring that, listen to that coach going, what does it look like to get there? And
Mhm.
that's the coach helps navigate you. You tell your coach where you want to go, and they will help you recognize where you're stepping.
And so the infomercial of ARC in the middle of what Bernard just said is the healing is about releasing the things that are holding you back. Restoration is about embracing the things that are going to propel you forward. We acknowledge where we're at, A, H, heal, R, restore, and then we touch that kingdom moment where your future self becomes the real self. We can unpack that more. Let's stay back on the path. So
Yes.
we've kind of touched this element of success. We've touched an element of security. We're recognizing, okay, I'm now being coached. How do I know I'm being coached well? These
Mm,
things are increasing in my life. There is no guarantee of financial success, but you'll recognize that finances is a lie if you're trusting in it.
yes.
You got to
Yes.
open your hands and release it in the security sense of recognizing who's in your pack. If you're surrounded by a lot of people, but you don't like any of them, you're worse off. So it's
Yes.
not in numbers that success is going to be found here. It is in value. It is in connection. Let's move on to the third.
Let's move on to the third. It's this is again one of the hardest things. Is you need a moment to yourself.
Mm,
Now you go, well, how do I know this? What if? What if? What if? You need a moment to yourself. You need a room like this. And again, we're in a studio room where it's noise canceling. You can put your noise canceling headsets on, put a visor in, go in a closet, whatever you want to do. You need a moment to yourself.
mm,
And you go, but I can't sit with myself for more than 3 seconds. Start with 3 seconds and then add one more second to that the next day or the next moment. Add another second to that.
mhm.
That's you have to be able to sit with yourself.
Yeah. And that moment is a now moment.
Yes.
Okay, so breathing is the easiest way to begin to bring yourself present. It aligns all things because you can only breathe in the now moment. So we take the subconscious breath, you do it all day long, and you bring it up to awareness and go, I'm going to take a breath. That choice to take a breath is a now moment. And then I'm going to exhale, breathe it out. It's a now moment. We talk about your future self. That's a future reality that you have to now move in the present. You cannot move in the future. You cannot
No.
change the future.
No.
We very briefly mentioned the past self. That past element is as dangerous as the future one if you're living in it. Your mind is going to be often trapped in the past and the future. The present moment is that moment with self. And the increasing metric to know that the coaching is working is you're going to have more now moments. You're going to recognize that time is not the measure of success. You'll never have enough time, and
No.
you'll always have too many things on your list if you're unsuccessful. But the successful people in the world, it's like they show up and they're with you. And then we being me, we look at, oh, you're successful, so you have enough money to buy more time. It's not true.
We
Everybody's got the same 24
we
hours.
all run out of time.
And yet, successful people, they somehow show up for themselves in a moment and then they share it with somebody else.
Love that. Love that. What an amazing visual. And again, listen to that again. It's one of the simplest things, but it's one of the hardest things because and to demonstrate it, you walk into a room and I just can't wait to get started talking to others and I'm not going to stop.
Mm,
And imagine how many people did I encounter? How many conversations? All I did was I was broadcasting. I walked in with a bullhorn and I'm just screaming at everybody. And at the end of the day, the noise level that goes out, and it stems from this place of being present with me. And if I can be present with me, then I can be present with Casey. I can be present with you. I could listen to you. I could hear you properly, and I can talk authentically about what's on your heart and what's on my heart, instead of going, I can't sit with myself, so I'm just gonna just broadcast.
yeah.
And that is a top top priority to get
Mm,
that in order in your life. And that's what the arc path is about, is it helps you learn how to settle things down and to be present with yourself.
beautiful. Let's crank it home. What's that last one? We're coming around with 4 points of understanding that coaching is really working.
Yes, it's what's the noise level in your life? It's that stability of knowing, I could be in a crowded room, a very noisy room, but I can be at peace. It's this, what is the noise level around you? And, what overwhelms you? And you go, "I'm
Mhm,
always overwhelmed." I go to the office, I'm overwhelmed. I go to the market, I'm always overwhelmed. Yes, that's
mhm,
that's 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 what we're going after, is how do you reduce that?
mhm.
How do you bring the noise level down? And again, it begins with you internally. It does
Yeah.
not, because you can't shut out the world.
Yep.
Good luck trying.
You cannot stop the storms of life.
No.
Those are circumstances. They're just events that are going to happen. You're not in control. But when you can learn to dance in the rain, when you can recognize that this is happening for me rather than happening to me, you're walking along the arc path. You're stepping above the line. You're being liberated from being at the effect of the world. And you're going, oh my gosh, my peace is stability and it never leaves me.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm going to just contrast it. We just talked about sitting with yourself and having a moment of being still and in the now. A lot of times, what that looks like is pushing out all of the distractions of the world. And yes, I want you along your journey to be able to push out the distractions of the world. But if you only can be at peace while you push away all the distractions, you're going to have to cut yourself out of the world and really become a monk, become isolated. That's not where
Yeah.
success is
Yeah.
found. That's not where
Yeah.
stability is found. Again, we're talking about the pack and that element, and now you're going to be able to engage the trials, the struggles, the chaos of the world, and still have your peace. Oh my
Yes.
gosh,
Yes.
could
Yeah.
that be a kingdom goal?
Well, you know what? It has to be. Again, go to your future. Just let's move. You said our mind's a time machine. Move forward to your future self.
Hmm.
Tell these stories. Replay this to your future self. And does your future self tell you, no, we want to constantly be fighting the noise and running around and pushing things out of the way? They're like, no, you're crazy, man. I don't want to live that lifestyle. But that's what we're choosing every day, and the arc path shifts that. It helps really retrain your mindset. It begins with lifestyle choices. It Community is ever present around us. I
Hmm.
mean, again, you can choose to be that monk, but that's still a community.
Yeah,
They're silent, but they're gonna speak. There's a whole lot of body language that
yeah.
communicates, and so at the end of the day, you have to, I guess, start over, but you're not starting over.
Yeah, and actually you can't ever start over
You can't
because
start
you've
over.
gained everything you learned from yesterday.
Yes.
If you recognize that, when you recognize that and you take hold of that, that's when fear and failure lose its grip on you.
Mhm.
That you're not less because you had less success. You're more because you've risked more, you've tried more things, you've learned 1,000 ways that it doesn't work, and now you're going to go forward. And that really is the journey that we invite you on a lifestyle path of better choices, is to really step up.
I'm gonna clean it up. So it's not starting over, it's starting new every day.
Yeah.
And that's that newness every day. I don't think up until this moment in time we were comfortable with starting new every day. But that's the reality around us, that
Mm.
if we don't recognize that the world is changing constantly now, and you're starting new every day going, I have everything that I need for today, but today is a new day.
Yep.
And newness being highlighted, going, it's going to be a new day. It's not going to be
Yeah.
a repeat of yesterday. Today's going to be a new day, and I'm equipped to handle today.
Mm. So we just wrapped up this podcast, but now here's the bonus edition, because Bernard and I talked about this before the podcast. So thanks for listening. Now, it brings us back to the manna conversation.
Mm,
It brings us back to recognizing that I can only store up for what I need today. Otherwise, my success is in what I did yesterday.
yes.
What a beautiful way to tie that together. Like I said,
Mm,
I already ended the podcast, but
yes.
now this little bonus feature is how does this play out in our lives and why we have peace with recognizing that today is the fullness of today?
It's the acceptance. I
Hmm.
think it's accepting the provision for today is available for today. It's needed for today. It's wanted for today, and it's been already delivered for today.
Yeah, yeah. Anything else you want to add?
A whole lot
Today is
more.
a beautiful day, isn't it?
It's just, uh, we're we're trying to invite there's a genuineness with our desire for you to celebrate what we celebrate.
Amen.
And not from a place of we've arrived there. No, it's a place of friendship and community that has brought so much peace into our community. And we want to invite you into that. Not so you're welcome to come and join us, but come and join us and but bring your community along. And then recognize going, who do I bring with me? And that's the invitation. This is not just for you. You are you're heralding this to your community, but come and get it. Get started on the arc path.
And start with us today. It's available. Follow us at arcpath.com. Follow us on social media. Get connected to group coaching, team building, Insight Line, and all things coming towards you, ARC. We're so glad that you're on the journey with us. Thanks for enjoying a little bonus.
Yes.
We'll see you soon.
Take care, guys.